you have to be there. And they have a small break in the afternoon, and they have a small break usually in the morning. But that means we have very limited time to actually, with the president, to talk in the morning to kind of get the strategy mapped out for the president. Then he takes advantage of the evenings. We've done events all around the city. Of course, he's been very busy on the fundraising circuit. But he should be in Michigan. He should be in Pennsylvania. He should be in Arizona. But he's in Lower Manhattan in a dingy, rundown, ice boxes of a courtroom.
Is it as cold as he says it is?
Oh, the case that is completely bogus on top of it.
We're 5 weeks in. Nobody has said a single time that President Trump did anything wrong. And so what, now magically next week, in week number 6, they're going to try to say that President Trump did something wrong? He can't. And you see the way this is. Look, I'm not a lawyer. I feel like I could have a law degree after this. Every single time the prosecution, the government says object, the judge immediately says sustained. They can't even get the word object out of their mouth, and he's like, sustained. When our attorneys do it, it's overruled. It feels, as someone who's not a lawyer, like this thing is so stacked against President Trump that they're doing everything they can to make this political.
Again, so you're sitting there observing this every single day. What do you think the jury's reaction has been? I know it's impossible to guess what they will do. And what has the former president's, I'll say, mood, his energy been like? Again, as you said, it's got to be really frustrating.
He's doing a lot better than I would be doing. I tell you, to be in that courtroom, and again, you have to just sit there and hear people talk, not just minutes, but hours, entire days, entire weeks. And for the most part, he has this gag order. He can't even respond in the way that he would like to respond, especially we're in the middle of a presidential campaign. This isn't happening in some complete vacuum. And so this is clearly an effort to try to silence him. And so many of the things that you even just brought up right there, I can't respond to directly because I fall under the gag order, and they've shut us down so completely there. But you see how this judge is behaving in this. You see what's happening with the DOJ and the Biden people moving different things around, and you can tell that justice isn't always blind in this country.
You mean Judge Merchan, who also donated to Joe Biden?
Yeah,
I know it was a small amount, but there's where his allegiance lies. That's who he supports. Another layer to the election interference, though, we were just talking about, I've talked about it a lot, is it's not just keeping the former president off the campaign trail, which is huge. You see the kind of reaction he gets from these historic rallies, but we're not talking about Joe Biden and his record. Disastrous inflation. The Fed, I'm talking about this in a little bit, they came out with their meeting minutes, or their policy minutes from the beginning of the month. Inflation is not slowing down. It's got no signs to slow down. The border's a complete catastrophe. Can't get that in shape. Foreign policy. But the media spends a large part of the day over the last 4 or 6 weeks talking about this.
No, you're exactly right. And so the president has the opportunity when he goes out to the cameras in the morning. You'll see a lot of times at 9:30, he'll bring up the big issues of the day. The fact that Joe Biden is trying to release 1 million barrels from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve just to try to bring down gas prices. Again, why are gas prices high? Because Biden shut down the energy exploration. Critical things like this, when you talk about inflation, whether that's groceries, which is number one, some places it's housing, some places it's gas prices that are number two, the crisis at the border, these are all things that are crises in this country right now, but we can't talk about them because we're stuck there. And these guys are devious. We saw what they did with social media in 2020. They tried to silence the Hunter laptop. Now in 2024, they're using lawfare to try to change the terrain.
Yeah, and the Hunter laptop they said was fake. Now is actually being used against Hunter Biden in his court case that is coming up in June. But we're looking now, Jason, at a live picture right here in downtown New York City where the former president, of course, Donald Trump, is getting ready to head up to that big rally in the Bronx with his motorcade. I know that you're going to be heading up there. What do you expect tonight?
Well, first of all, you're going to have thousands of people. This is a real deal rally. Very excited about it. President's working on his speech as we speak, and so I imagine it'll be a very good. We'll have a couple of VIPs. They'll probably be joining the president as well. But we're already seeing social media, and we're watching your coverage here on Newsmax. People are already packed. And this thing, I mean, this is like
people haven't even got out of work yet, though, too.
Right.
Up to the Bronx.
I was going to say, but some of them are already starting a party.
I think it's going to get even bigger. Wait till 4 o'clock rolls around, 5 o'clock, and they go to the Bronx.
I happen to be watching even a couple of the fakes, or even picking up on what's happening in the Bronx, because people realize what President Trump is doing with changing the Republican Party to recruit more African Americans, Latino Americans. This will be such a sign that will send shockwaves through the 2024 election, because no longer are Republicans the party of Jeb or Mitt Romney. We're the working class party. Democrats are the ones who are the global elites.
Jason Miller, good to see you.
Thank you both.
Yeah, Jason, thanks so much. Have a good time.